They were talking about the Alchemist plus Chen strat, right? That was Tier 9, I think. And they, after in the exit interview, they said that, or Puppy said, that they thought the Chen was the problem. Was actually Alchemist the problem. So that's one of those repeats. They see a combo and they think
the flip side, like maybe this is like the 5-head play from Puppy, is that the line is the actual issue and it's not necessarily the time.
I would trust him more than you.
Yeah, of course, naturally.
So they should probably pick IO here. Oh, they're going to plan for the IO.
Oh, and they get the Magnus.
So what happened against LGD was that Secret, this started with Team Spirit seeing a Tiny in the lower bracket and responding with Wyvern Mag. And then LGD, Secret did the same thing to LGD in the winter bracket finals where they let LGD have the Tiny and responded with Wyvern Mag. And you don't want to pick IO into Wyvern Mag because the IO Tiny will just get RP'd and cursed together and the IO will just die. So they replaced the IO, like the buffer, the attack speed, with an Ogre on the side of LGD. So we're seeing like 3 series carry over onto another.
The Ogre was first phase banned here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They banned the Ogre.
Interesting, yeah. It's like you never expect an Ogre to be first and prior to like 2 days ago. But because of how things have progressed in terms of essentially countering the Tiny, this is what has happened. The Ogre is first phase banned.
So it's interesting because that was probably a read by Team Spirit saying we stopped tied in the pool, and they actually probably agree with you that if they pick first pick Mag, we just tied and we beat them again. So they knew the Tiny was going to happen, which is why they last banned the Ogre.
Yeah, it's a lot of mind games going on. We see the Tiny when it's first picked. There's almost always a Necro, Ursa, Lifestealer are usually the 3 bans that come out in the second round. These teams, they just learn from each other. They see things that work and don't work, and sometimes it's a matter of like Lifestealer, for instance, isn't a free game versus Tiny by any means, but we saw one of the few heroes that doesn't mind getting slapped by Tiny for 10 seconds in a row because he will sustain it. And also ET's aura doesn't work through Magic Immunity, so here I'm keeping an eye out for. They've actually banned the Ember.
Interesting.
Ember Mag.
Yeah, last time we saw LGD actually do this against Secret, where they picked the Tiny and then they banned out like all of the counters in the second phase. But then they also picked the Phoenix into Snapfire. And I was thinking a big reason that they did that is because they essentially decided, and we were talking to Seth backstage actually about this, that LGD had essentially decided that those were all of the heroes that they didn't have an answer to, and anything that they had left in the pool, it was likely they had some sort of counter pick, you know, like a Pugna versus like Necrophos, for example, if you've got a great Pugna player. And then Phoenix, picking it into Snapfire is kind of insane. It's like you just press, I always forget the little shredder, and then you kill the egg, right? But the thing is, it's like a Tiny counter, and then it's also good for the team fights, and so you're block picking it, and then you're also getting it. It's better for the game.
But now we also made a point that in that specific draft, it was really difficult for the Snapfire to get into position and actually shoot the egg down, which actually Secret into the Weaver
heroes, like there was like a Puck and other heroes like that.
So Secret went for the Weaver trying to break the lines, and then they got a bad core-to-core matchup. So we might be seeing something similar for Spirit if we see Secret going for more team fight.
I think we will see a Weaver or Snap come out for Spirit in the laning phase against Tiny. Those are 2 of the best supports because he starts with 0 armor.
This is the BSJ theory. How do you counter the Tiny according to you?
It's the 0 armor in lane. Like until level 6, Tiny is not good against physical damage, and these heroes eventually are still a nuisance for him because the Weaver bugs. They take a lot of attacks to remove, and Tiny does a lot of damage per attack, but doesn't attack very fast.
Yeah, like he basically has to build into attack speed in order to make up for the fact that he has none. Another nice thing about obviously Spirit, they've been picking this throughout the entire tournament, so they know how to play it. That's going to play into whether or not they pick it. But you're playing against 2 melee strength heroes. Very easy to get the bugs on them. And then also, you're going to pick up a Spirit Vessel on Weaver. And percentage magic damage is how you deal with the Tiny's massive HP pool and armor.
I have the last ban here. So what was they banned Lifestealer, I remember, and what was the other one they considered?
It's usually Ursa. Yeah, Lifestealer. Because you have the ET, I think the Lifestealer is the better ban because he's not only good against Tiny, but he's also really good against your other hero.
So could this be an Ursa pick for Spirit, Jenkins?
It could, and I would assume that Secret, obviously having dealt with this in the LGD series, if they're dragging an Ursa through, it's something that they think that they can counter. It's something that they think that they have an answer for. And I mean, that's what pro drafting is in general. It's like you think you have an answer for something. It turns out you don't. Ban it the next game. So whether or not Puppy's right about that is up for debate. But they could definitely pick the Ursa. It's great against Elder Titan too. Like there's absolutely no way an Elder Titan's going to run up and start punching an Ursa. So it's just a really easy hero that you can kill in every team fight, and it's worth killing him too.
There's two thoughts going into this Ursa pick, because if you want the Ursa really badly, you're going to pick it here, but you're also not concerned that Secret's going to take it, because they already have most likely what is their carry, and if it isn't their carry, they're most likely going to leave it open until the last pick. So you have to ask yourself, if you plan to pick the Ursa anyways, you probably pick it here, because if you pick it fourth into counters that they already picked, then there's no reason to hold off, but at the same time, you're not worried about the other team taking it.
Ban could be the Weaver that you were talking about. Yes,
it's Rubik or Snap. It's a Weaver or Snap, I'm pretty sure.
But Rubik is also good against Magnus for the telekinesis, 0 cast point stun, or almost 0.
The nice thing about Weaver as a support position is that it's kind of similar to what we saw when I believe Secret picked it as the carry position, is that you can survive burst. Well, you think you can survive the tiny burst. And if you press R, you're full HP, and Tiny doesn't have the burst, right? And so it's the same thing we saw Faceless Void actually beat the Tiny earlier in the tournament because of the same principle where you're just dodging all of the burst, and obviously has a longer cooldown on that, but as a support, you can have a carry who's actually building into Scotty, building into Satanic, these tanky items, and then save them with the Weaver Aghanim Scepter, and then all of a sudden Tiny's not as much of an issue.
I was not expecting the Willow again. It worked really well last game, but I don't think heroes on Secret are the same as we saw like the Magnus combo. They don't have like a clear time that you're supposed to terrorize in this game for the Willow. But maybe they also are unlikely to go for the morph, because you have ET on the other side who removes all of his armor. Interesting pick.
Maybe the idea is around the brambles, because Tiny is not the traditional BKB carry due to his stat resistance, and then you're constantly getting brambled and you can't run around freely. Might also stop the potential Lycan type combo.
Yeah, sure, and it's also like disengage too. You can just pick and choose your fights, and that sets up for the Winter Wyvern and the Magnus to hit better spells. Obviously, they're big counter initiators. You want to pick and choose your fights.
There's the Lycan regardless. It's the LGD draft.
Lycan
I
Tiny.
think Willow's that great against Lycan. It's like you're not going to die to the Lycan because you have Shadow Realm and maybe Terrorize to cover yourself, but none of this. Lycan. Okay, now that you've controlled him or saved yourself, well, now what? And we saw that in the past, Mag, he used to build like Tread's Echo Saber from the mid lane, or even sometimes build a little bit to right click from the off lane, and this cleave was good against Lycan's summons, but now Lycan's aura is global, so the hero is usually never anywhere near his summons, and then you also build like mobility on the Mag, so Lycan's really good at zoning out the Mag.
And he's got one summon instead of 2 little necro.
Like in necro books, yeah.
Yeah, which you would kill. So this SD looks like it's preemptively kind of countering the Morphling, who you could steal illusions of, and I really do think the Team Spirit's about to pick Morphling. This draft looks like to me that they're just saying, we're really confident in this strategy, we just won with it, it looked really good, like we don't care if you counter us.
It might be preemptively countering Ursa as well.
That's
because
true.
You have the constant dispel against the overpower, but you also have the save for the Winter's Curse and the RP. The disruption is incredibly powerful this game because Team Spirit doesn't have a way to jump him yet. They have to draft something like the Storm, and these heroes don't want to be playing into like Storm Spirit mobile heroes don't want to play into really beefy Lycans and Tinies. And Sven, yes, it looks nice because of the armor, the Warcry, but that is also purged by Shadow Demon.
Yep.
And if he gets to an Axe at any point, if it's maybe a 4-position Shadow Demon, that break as well as dispel consistently, it just ruins Sven.
Yeah, this is a really kiteable Sven. It looks like right now. In terms of at least Team Secret's draft, they have the Disruption from Shadow Demon, they have the Ult from Shadow Demon, they have all the Tiny Stuns, which are on a low cooldown. Ultra Tiny, throwing all of these spells into melee range. BKB Piercing, of course, the Earth Splitter. The Lycan can run his units around you. Of course, you can cleave those. We already talked about the cleave's not as good as it was before. But then on the flip side, there is a lot of setup potential from Spirit in terms of having some crazy wombo combo in the team fight. You have the Sven cleave on top of the Magnus of Power, giving him even more cleave, as well as these like massive team fight ultis. They could 100% have the Sven 1v5 in this game, but it requires some team fight synergy.
And no Shadow Demon. Because the Shadow Demon really destroys this whole idea. If he gets purged, you lose the Empower there, you lose your Warcry, you're getting kited.
True. Yeah.
Like, this Shadow Demon has completely
It's a great pick.
Yeah.
It's a great pick.
This is what Seb was talking about off panel yesterday as well, where these teams know what kind of hero you have to pick. They've picked Lycan and Tiny. You have to pick a durable hero that can clear the summons.
Yep.
Shadow Demon's good against pretty much all these heroes that do that. So they picked the Shadow Demon knowing that no matter what, you're still going to pick it into a counter. Like, you would never on paper pick Sven into Shadow Demon, but there's other issues that they have to solve on the Team Spirits draft, so they don't mind a bad matchup. It's just really cool thought process from these drafters.
And then Spirit bans out the Puck, which is exactly what LGD ran with a very similar draft yesterday. I would be surprised if Secret doesn't just go for the Void Spirit is banned out, Ember is banned out. We need a Spirit type hero because none of these Secret heroes want to go in and actually get stuff started. This is what we've seen in all of the drafts so far from them. So what do we have left? Storm's a little slow.
Could they run something like a DK, for example, instead?
The problem is you don't know the lane matchup. Oh, they go with Lina. Okay, so something that's going to win the lane no matter what.
But now you lack the initiation you were talking about, so Tiny's going to have to be the one.
It's going to be Lycan's job.
Oh, Lycan.
I think it's going to be Lycan's job. They're not going to have a hard initiation. They're going to have cause chaos, and eventually you'll separate, and the Tiny will be able to land his abilities. They have a lot of poke, a lot of prod, and then eventually, once they get the fight started, their damage on Team Secret is immense. Once you get the Tiny Lycan timing, the Wyvern's really good against Tiny because of the slow from Winter's from Arctic Burn, but that doesn't matter if you're hasted.
You go here.
And they go for, you have to go for something like this to jump the Shadow Demon, but my emphasis is this hero is not good conceptually against push lineups. You don't want your towers getting pushed. You want your team setting up the rotations. I think Team Spirit's going to be on the back foot. I don't like being on the back foot when I have a Sven. He's a pretty strong laner who wants to pick fights on his own terms rather than defensively. If team can pull it off, it's Team Spirit, but I think Secret's got their number on this one.
The way Spirit wins this is through team fighting. There's always the snowball potential of a Storm Spirit if he gets an early Orchid. There really isn't much to disable him. I was thinking maybe like a Yule Scepter would be pretty good on Nisha this game, but it's just such an uncommon Lina build, and you've got the SD to set up for you already, so maybe you just don't go for that Yule Scepter, even though if the Storm does pop off, you probably need one. But yeah, I think Spirit can definitely win team fights, but Team Secret's draft is looking a lot like LGD's, and that looked pretty unbeatable, to be quite honest.
But Spirit wins for a comfort draft, right? This is the draft that they've played through and through. This is the bread and butter. Team fights, strong carry, Yatoro on the Sven, like even Miroslav on the Dark Willow.
Yep.
All these heroes are heroes they know how to play, so maybe they're just trying to go for a good draft they know how to execute.
Well, the way I think they win, honestly, is being close enough in the game once Secret goes high ground to win off the skewers into base. I think that is their best option because eventually the Sven can match the Tiny, but he needs like 4 or 5 attempts to only do enough damage, but also tank through what they're dishing out on Secret.
By the way, in Secret is they swapped Eldraine and Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon's going to be a 5 this time.
I see.
ET's going to be the 4.
Yeah, ET running in and disrupting seems really good this game, and at a 5 you can't do that because you just feed due to no items. But like Wyvern and Magnus, they're looking for these big counter initiations, which if you're using all of your spells to stop this like position 4 ET from punching you, then you can't do that. So I do think that actually makes a lot of sense, and the disruption is what's important from the SD as well as the ult.
And now, as the game begins, we're going to get everyone's duo here on the stage. It's Sunsfan and Synderen.
Hello, everybody. It all comes down to Synderen. Game number 3. Millions of dollars on the line. Team Secret versus Team Spirit. We have a tiny Lycan combo again, but no Christmas tree.
Oh no! What does he have? It's a regular tree.
It's very, very sad to see. Maybe if they win this match with that extra few $1 million, he can buy the Christmas tree for himself, Synderen. But what do you think of these lineups?
What a game this is going to be. Yeah, so Secret are playing a strategy that's very similar to what LGD did yesterday against them with the tiny Lycan. I do think some key components are very different, though, from what made the strategy for LGD. I think the mid hero by nature, having Lina instead of Puck, makes the dynamic of the game very, very, very different. Simply, you can't really catch in the same way. You don't have the same space-making type of mid. Secret's lineup is slightly more on the greedier side. As far as Team Spirit goes, they have insane team fight. Obviously, Collapse on the Magnus has looked incredible this event. They have a lot of initiation power with the Storm, as well as potentially a and somewhere down the line. So I think it might sound crazy seeing absolutely destroyed by that tiny Lycan yesterday, but I think Spirit actually have a really good shot at this game, primarily because of the difference in the mid lane, the way they set it up with their bans in the draft, and then always that wild card of Mag.
Indeed, and it seems to be a wild card in every game because he's picked every game, gets past that first phase of bans. Disruption from Puppey, as Collapse will try to make his way to that top lane here. And yeah, this is gonna, I don't know. We talked about this in game number 1, and maybe we can revisit it a bit, but a lot of pressure on Secret to perform because they are the experienced ones. Spirit kind of free-flowing, I guess is a good way to, but this has to be a pressure for everybody right now. Because I remember back in the when we did DC in the lower bracket finals against EG at TI6, everybody was nervous on both teams, and that led to a lot of mistakes, which made it really exciting.
Right.
So we'll see if that ends up coming to fruition in this game 3.
One thing to focus on for Secret when it's crunch time and you really need to get the win is that so far Nisha has been a standout player in that mid lane, and he has himself one of the best possible matchups against Toronto Tokyo Storm playing as Lina. So even though we don't have that second-making potential that we saw out of PSG yesterday.
Disruption, Matu's there.
Okay.
All right, oh, nice. Neutral. The first blood for the neutrals. That's a lot of extra gold for all those creeps. They combine, and then you just get even more gold, and that's definitely how it works. Denying first blood gold, though, that's pretty big.
That actually sounded like a suggestion Slax could have come with. Oh, if the neutral's killed, they should hold the bounty, and then if you kill the neutral keep, it gives 300 gold.
It gets larger and larger. Why not?
Why?
I don't know. Just because. Why neutral items, Synderen? I love them.
Well, why not?
So Matu playing the Tiny, as we alluded to. Collapse finally not... I mean, he's playing Mag Synderen. Basically, every performance that he's had at this tournament has been quite stellar. It's been kind of his showing out party. Is we have a disruption again, Collapse, putting himself in the way so that Mira is not collapsed upon.
Let's be a little bit careful here, actually. Puppey coming in with the illusion
skewer. We have the skewer with the shockwave. They're going to try to 1v1 battle this. The Brambles come out as well. This is going to be first blood going the way of somebody. Cinder is Matu. One right click. Nope. Puppey will get credit for that one.
And with the avalanche, he's opting not to chase down, but rather to straight up go up and salve Matumbaman and probably give him a tango here as well. Coming out of his own tango in a second. So, yep, Secret will get first blood there. That was very close. Obviously, Collapse playing off the knowledge that Avalanche would be on cooldown for quite a while there. Has been nerfed over time. It's 26-second cooldown level 1. Honestly, for what it does, a long one when you think about it compared to other heroes. So, probably need some buffs to Tiny after this TI so that he can do...
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Courier's going to get sniped here from Yapzor. Looking forward to the briefcase being shown here in the game. But Nisha in the mid lane on this. Lina is at 19-9 for CS versus the 11-1.
He's gone woods.
Yeah, I can't blame him. This is not going super well for him, but he does have a nice stack here, so we'll be getting a good amount of gold overall. But Nisha is just left to his own devices, Cinder, and that's... We've been seeing him on Void Spirit mostly this series. It's a scary proposition for Team Spirit to leave him be. Puppey. He harassed a bit here from Collapse as Matu making his way over as well. It is only a 1-0 advantage in this early game for game number 3. So much on the line. Imagine what's going through the heads of every single player in those booths. But Team Secret, they have a ton of experience to fall back on it. Team Spirit, they have, I would say, the momentum in the tournament from the beginning of the tournament
and from the last game,
months even, right?
Yeah. That was a game that they were doing well in, then it looked really grim, and they just grabbed the win out of nowhere. That's got to be a real confidence booster. Sure. Not really going to follow up on it.
The crowd goes wild with that shockwave.
Yeah, I didn't go for the skewer. I don't know if that would have led to a kill, but definitely could have done some significant damage to the Tiny. They're going to opt to just chill here. And let's talk a little bit about bottom, because we've been focusing lane. So it's going to be a Tauros Sven against Zai Lycan, obviously with the Elder Titan of Yapzor battling up against Miposhka's Wyvern. Actually, Yapzor could be in a bit of trouble. Oh, never mind, that's not actually the case at all. Sorry for the misleading information.
Okay.
Right, he's one of the carries that does the best against Lycan in lane. You have the natural building cleave when you skill upgrade cleave. You have good armor, so
And you have a double cleave, Cinderin. Very important.
true. It puts pressure on the Lycan in lane that he always needs to micro his wolves. There are some carries that you can play against where it's a lot easier, but you just have more stuff to manage here, more things that can go wrong. CSing just flat out gets harder because your wolves can just get stunned and they can cleave them down.
Yeah.
So obviously, unsurprising to see Yatoro pull this far ahead of Zai as he is, obviously sitting now at 34 and 13 against 16-2, which is a much bigger lead than what Secret have in their top lane on Tiny, but the big story is Nisha is level 6.5 and Toro's got level 5. And mind you, this is without a kill in that lane.
Indeed.
It's just
Yapzor has
raw
come as
farm.
well, so Toronto getting forced out, and which means it's going to be extra damage to the tower in all likelihood. Miposhka being spotted out now as Yapzor's going to get even more damage as a result. And it's just one of those you cannot ignore. Be able to beat the crap out of people with that briefcase of his. Or stapler, depending on what you like. But Toronto Tokyo looking for the bottom rune. He will get it, and it's an arcane. But still, not level 6, so can't really take true advantage of that. Yapzor applying some pressure to Miposhka in the meantime. The Arctic Burn is procced. Toronto Tokyo has to walk up and go into the jungle. As top lane, Poppy's in a lot of trouble. Looks like he's going to take a tumble, but Collapse will likely die to this point. So it's 1 for 1.
Range for that kill though, so still call that a win for Team Spirit.
Dire structures are
The
fortified.
experience that would have made a difference. Maybe he did. I'm actually unsure, but he should.
Toronto Tokyo does hit level 6
got
now.
6.
Yep, and he's going to jump on top. But Nisha his way over. Mira's there as well, so it's a 3 versus 1. Even God Strength used. Whatever it takes to take out Nisha and into the jungle, into the triangle
wants to farm
Yatoro
the stacks
goes.
here, Yatoro, since he rotated anyway, so might as well use God Strength there. They're going to stack one more time and then clean up whatever they can.
Yep.
Indian power buff up as well here.
Oh yeah,
That is juicy.
very nice. So, like, is there a game where it's not good, or is it just something? If you have these two heroes, that's something we should expect no matter what.
I think we should in this game, please. It's just, it puts so much pressure on the team that they know that if Tiny isn't under control, you could kind of one-shot comboed on almost any of your heroes once he has the items. So I'd be rather surprised if Zai doesn't go. I've been flying out now. It's on the way on that car, so I'll be grabbing that. But good kill here for Team Spirit in the mid lane, taking advantage immediately of hitting level 6 on Storm to punish Nisha, who hyper aggressive, obviously what won him the lane to begin with. Sets him back a little bit there with Storm Arcane Rune.
Top lane, Matu's getting forced out, has the Bramble there, but will walk away.
Seeker are actually pretty far ahead in these two lanes. Collapse is level 5, Matu's level 7, and mid Nisha, even after the death, is still a level and a half ahead of the Storm of Toronto Tokyo. Bot lane Zai level 6, and what is the Sven? Sven is level 8.5. So all across the board, slight advantage for Secret overall. Good news for them, right? Keep in mind what their lineup wants to do. This is a similar story to what we had against LGD yesterday from Secret, where LGD were content to just farm for 20 minutes until
The Avatar.
they got what they wanted.
Okay, that's much damage. Collapse is actually perfectly fine. Sorry, continue your thought, Cinderin. Really apologize.
So carry Tinies will generally not do that much damage with that combo once to get the points into a 3 grab. Grab it 3 times. Yapzor.
Yep, Stormhammer's there. Yatoro pops his ult, and Yapzor just gonna get chopped down into oblivion.
Oh,
And I guess
Zai's like,
all the
hey,
creeps
Yatoro,
die
you want
too.
another 150 gold here? It's his Dom creep, as well as Wolves cleaved off in 2 swings from Yatoro. He's gonna be very happy about that.
And Nisha, essentially, so that'll be a nice setup for his LSA combo. And, well, it kind of cookie cutter build, I would assume, from as well. Echo Saber, Silver Edge, maybe
Probably.
a Blink Dagger at some point, or BKB.
Crow Silver, I think it's fine. It gives you a possibility of one-shotting the Storm. You can one-shot Storm, Willow, or Wyvern as Tiny with a Silver Edge. On Willow, you need to toss. You need to basically attack, instant toss, and then Avalanche while it's in the air, or he will get off the realm and escape. But the other heroes are very easy targets. Miposhka looking to defend bottom. It is a hard defense. Wolves.
Yeah, but Miposhka
Dominator range
is
creep.
level 6, so Curse is available here, which can be really annoying for Lycan players.
Secret aren't going to try to continue pushing. Maybe too intimidated by the missing Storm. Toronto Tokyo not TP mid. They could find Nisha here.
Yeah, LSA is going to connect to the Shadow Realm. Matu coming, backstabbing, gets the Avatos, but still not enough damage to really do much to Toronto Tokyo. Curse Crown connects, and that'll break up the fight completely.
I feel like there might have been a potential play there for Secret to get a stun off from Lina onto the Storm if the Avalanche toss were staggered as much as possible out of Matu there.
Oh, the big jump in from Toronto Tokyo, and the terrorize to follow. Puppies in the vicinity. Can they save them? Shadow for the disruption is there. Toronto Tokyo looks to be the one taken out. It's going to be a 1-for-1 though. Laguna Blade expended. Now Mira getting absolutely beat down. Looks like Puppy gets credit for that one. So a 2-for-1 overall. Who died first between the mid laners?
The Storm was killed off first. Yes, he was. Did get the return gold onto Nisha there, but in the meantime, of course, you gotta look at the rest of the map as well. Secret are gaining this bottom tier 2 or tier 1 tower, excuse me, with the siege creep. Oh, nice deny attempt from the push. Actually, just got it there as Wyvern. But Team Spirit will trade for top. Didn't get the last hit on Yotaro, but still opens up the map a little bit.
Yeah, Yotaro has the Mask of Madness, going for the Echo Saber, Blink, and then BKB. And from there, I would assume Silver Edge.
Yeah, Silver Edge could be a thing. I think maybe on second, the game might want to just go AC. I don't know if you want to get the Silver at all. You want to blink in, and then you're going to just stand and deliver. I don't know if you're going to get the Silver Edge surprise jump. So yeah, I definitely like Dagger out of Echo, and then BKB, probably AC, and then either Satanic, Daedalus, you know, the standard stuff.
Mr. Collapse. The mech ready to go. You can see Toronto Tokyo getting close to finishing Kaya. So again, not opting for the Orchid because there's a mid. Is there any consideration for Nisha? Gets off some spells, gives him some nice movement speed, but Collapse finds the RP, and with Yotaro in the area, all 3 cores, in fact, in that top river,
he's a big kill.
Take out Nisha.
You want to slow down the Lina as much as you can. Gets caught there. The Yules wasn't able to save him. It is a lot of mana out of Storm's pool every time he does it, so can't really farm too much out of it, I suppose, but you just want to, again, kill the Lina on every opportunity you get. You have a Sven that's totally free farming as well. So maybe in the next 10 minutes, you know, Secret will, again, they just want to build up their Lycan as well as their... at some point you might be able to flat out just contest them if Lina isn't strong enough. Seems to be the plan. Secret Nisha here is queuing up the BKB before travels. We'll see if that is the order.
I don't know if they can find him without the RP, but this would be a devastating kill onto Nisha.
Yeah, that would have been huge.
But still, Blink Daggers are coming soon enough for Team Spirit, which looks like that is next for Yotaro on the Sven. And Puppy puts down a ward. He can... a little bit there.
Yotaro should have a dagger in like 2 or 3 minutes, so that would be a really good time for them to look for opportunities that could potentially lead into Roche. I think it's maybe a little bit of a stretch for the lineup to do Roche this early unless you get a team wipe.
LSA connects, Laguna Blade to follow, but does not have the damage.
Oh, the
tree disjointed by Toronto Tokyo. So decent amount expended, but Nisha just going to go back into the jungle with a nice triple stack.
They find Collapse top.
Yep, they sure do. Cinderin got the Avatos combo with Puppy's ult. Collapse gets to skewer off, but can't make it to the high ground, and is eventually brought down by Secret. There's a Tokyo right now, but they are headed towards that bot area. Zai almost done with the Helm of the Overlord. Have to wait. And they're in a Curse Crown with the Bedlam damage coming through. Looks like that's going to be an easy Spirited. So it's off lane for off lane, essentially. Miposhka getting destroyed by these wolves, has to curse the creeps just to survive. At least he does so.
It's funny to think about how for a short while Wyvern was considered one of the strongest where they're just like, well, what if I just don't run in my hero? And all of a sudden, it wasn't fun for Wyverns anymore. This was obviously back in the day when we had Necronomicon. Made it a lot worse for the Wyvern as well, just the overall mana burn and total damage, how quickly it came in. But still, the Overlord, once that comes out on Zai, and just pop your ult and you run the Golem at Wyvern, what are you going to do?
Indeed.
It's tough.
And that'll also help Amp actually get that to be able to bite his teammate and turn the Rockman into a wolf. As you stop the net worth right now by a pretty decent margin, but that is kind of to be expected from a Sven
with Empower.
With him. Obviously, Tiny not able to get his shard yet, but that's
Yatoro wants to show up his blink here.
Puppey gets off disruption. Nisha on the back line. Yatoro jumps in with the blink dagger, but a nice Eul's from Nisha. See the gonna pump Nisha. They're gonna apply all their pressure onto him now. Our Splitter comes out. First to fall will be Puppey. The skewer into the RP. Several heroes caught in there. Then it's gonna be a kill from Toronto Tokyo. Buyback now onto Puppey as Collapse being beaten by the tree. So Secret do get a collateral kill here, but it's gonna cost them dearly, Synderen.
That worked out super well for Spirit, though. They just gone to Tokyo and followed up. YapzOr didn't really manage to pump or Splitter in that situation, so they couldn't really. That's the key counterplay that we'll usually have in a spot like this. Diving Elder Titan is really scary, but or against Elder Titan rather. If you're already using the disruption, they feel way more confident just locking onto a single target in that Lina and getting her down as soon as possible. So that was an instant cue to go. And the RP from Collapse, like you said, wonderful. So, was that actually only a 2-for-1 with a buyback from Secret?
Yeah.
What? How did
Toronto Tokyo dies?
Have to admit, I wasn't looking there.
Matu.
Shadowblade reveal.
Yeah, that is a huge kill for
That
Secret.
is big. He was dominating,
That
so he gets 650 bonus for that.
That negates that mid fight entirely.
Yeah,
basically,
pretty
he's
much.
a wash now.
Big find for Matsu.
As you see the Rock Golem come into play now with that Helm of the Overlord. I feel like I haven't seen
Radiant structures
in a long time, Sinner. It's always the Rock. Maybe there's a higher chance when Tiny's around popped to try to get away here.
Yeah, Matsu's gonna wait for another tree before he goes and finishes this tower, or they might just not do it at all. They're gonna respect the potential play here from a Blink Skewer, as well as a respawning Storm, and Secret are gonna wait for later. Honestly, I understand it. I don't think you have to really stress taking this tower. You have passive ways of slowly getting it, like Wolves, like the Helm of the Overlord. It will fall eventually. If it isn't going to get jumped, he can Shadowblade and double hit it and it's gone. So don't have to risk anything to get it here. Have composure and discipline there from Secret.
Yep, wants to find YapzOr, and it looks like he'll find him.
Radiant's middle tower is
Easy
under
pick
attack.
off for Spirit again. Yatoro makes his way to the mid lane, and like you said, that Golem ends up getting the kill on mid. Inevitable to fall. And that's going to give some nice gold over to Zai, as we have another Avatos killing off the Storm Spirit. Are you kidding me? Matu is just finding these incredibly important pickoffs. And it's just with a Shadow Blade too. It's not like this is Blink Dagger and Shadow Blade to be able to come from
He might even
the
find
fog.
another one here. Find a ward. Okay, so won't get the Wyvern.
2 huge picks from Matu.
Yeah. With those kills, he's actually tied with Sven on net worth. And it's a replay here of, I believe, the previous one.
Yep, gets off the first right with the Avatos and just enough damage. It's actually relatively... So a couple very important deaths going in favor of Secret this time. Toronto 4-3, so he was 4-1 before that. He was having himself quite the game. But you can see, just in terms of net worth, he is just right in the middle. That is not where you want to be.
He is a little bit Lycan who was laning against Sven at this point. That puts things into perspective.
But he does get an Essence Ring, so
he does.
That'll help. That's a nice one.
It'll help if he doesn't get burst in a one-shot combo from... Fortunately, that's what generally tends to happen against Tiny. Also, Lina, similar story. If he gets caught by a stun, might not even have time to use the Essence Ring. So it's nice and pre-pop it when he jumps in just for safety, but it is pretty expensive to use. 200 mana cost is something Storm doesn't really want to throw away for nothing.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Team Secret sporting a 2k net worth lead now. It's right on the back up to 3k now. As Yataro, he is the member of Team Spirit. A lot of pressure on him now, Cinder, because of Winter's Curse. It's only on to Puppey, though. The skewer back from Collapse. Looks like they'll get this one.
Is under attack.
Nice and easy. Pretty much a zero risk play with the Blink Skewer.
Does cost them a Winter's Curse. Not the
No. And I don't think Secret are going to be super eager to go, especially not with Puppey with a buyback on, or with a dieback here, essentially, right? F. Also out for a minute. Don't need to worry about not the curse. Nothing's going to come the way from Secret right now, most likely. As a matter of fact, it's going to be Team Spirit again going for a move. Oh, see Nisha here.
Yapzor.
Wow, they did jump out of that. Not yet, anyway, Nisha.
Nisha.
Invis Rune.
Later, right? Or Invis Rune. As
Radiant are scanning.
the Golem is trying to create space here, Cinderin. And Matu ready to go. It is 20 minutes, so expect that shard pretty soon for Matu. I mean, how much do you prioritize that before the Silver Edge, actually? It is really important to have. Yeah, Golem is dead, but it's okay. There'll be another one soon.
Sorry, you were asking about the Silver Edge and Tiny?
Yeah, when do you prioritize the shard? Because I feel like it is quite important.
Good question. I think now that you had these 2 kills that you just got, you might want to get the Silver Edge first and keep the snowball rolling. I think if it's less of an active game from you, where you're just more farm-centric, you get the shard as soon as possible. These conditions, I would imagine, will finish the silver first so we can just find bigger and more frequent kills.
Toronto Tokyo picks up an Orchid, by the way, so a little bit later one, didn't prioritize it first. Obviously, we talked about the Yules on Toronto, or on Nisha and the BKB.
Though?
Yeah, he has to go for the backline. It's got to be like an Elder Titan or something.
He kind of has to Orchid Shadow Demon or the save comes out, right? But Puppey does have a Ghost Scepter, so he can't solo kill him anyway. If Puppey is quick on the Ghost, he can counterplay a lot of the stuff that Team Spirit offer up here from their team fight, except the Skewer, of course, which will get him kills. He can that's a lot of stuff to use just to set up for the 5, though. And any other target can potentially be saved or at least delayed by Puppey. Storm can't solo kill with the Orchid, whereas Nisha got the BKB. Obviously been playing from ahead against the Storm the whole game. And if Storm wants to solo kill Lina, you need to hit for that BKB timing. But Secret are effectively conceding Roche at this point by playing the bottom half, and Spirit will say thank you very much, get an 8 Storm.
Yep, very important. Probably the best hero in the entire game to get the Aegis, but it is a hero that has not that much net worth, so it is a bit of a trade-off actually this game, I'm surprised to say, just because the net worth on Yataro is crazy right now. Matu
cleans up the wave. He did get the shard first.
Okay, so has the shard so the tree is going nowhere and wants it to go somewhere, Cinderin.
Yep.
There's Nisha working on the Shadow Blade now, so from Secret's perspective, is it just I was gonna ask if they're gonna wait out the Aegis, but it looks like Matu wants to at least get, I was gonna say chip damage, but not with Tiny. Fortifications pop, and Poshka's in the area and has his curse available, but needs to find a target next to Tiny so that Matu kills a teammate. Friendly fire is definitely a thing.
Oh, it's gonna effectively get a deny out of that. I don't think Spirit are too happy with this. They TP'd down multiple heroes and they didn't even get to mount the defense that they were trying to set up, and they will now have to just back off and go top. At the very least, the deny, probably a little bit of a little thing going their way, not too great, but
Axe online. We have the Wolf Bite ability in the game.
oh boy.
So
Did PSG LGD have Elder Titan in that game yesterday? I don't think they did. I think they were against it.
yeah, I'm not sure.
So expect if Elder Titan is also in the play together with Tiny, that the Tiny will ignore all the armor too, effectively dealing pure damage as a wolf with tree.
This is the most... I mean, if you told me about this hybrid a few years ago, Cinder, I wouldn't have believed you. There we go. Matu is now a Rock Wolf hybrid. A tree that you can't see. It's there. It's not his tail. That's a tail and a tree somewhere, Cinderin.
Yep.
Hidden
Not sure where he...
in the depths of his bowels, probably.
A very big mouth.
Probably coming out of his mouth, yeah. That's what I would imagine, at least. Lore-wise, it makes a lot of sense, you know? I don't know what's so funny about this act. It's just, it never gets old, I feel like.
Gonna TP bot. I want to make another move here. So they didn't really accomplish much with that shapeshift or the first wolf bite. It's up again in 40 seconds, but at the very least, for Secret, Team Spirit aren't really progressing on the map. Picking the mid-tier 1, 25 minutes in, they're not really opening up that much. So the obvious play for them is to go top, which is now being marked by Yotaro. He wants to go there. Has to be really careful though with the flank angles that Secret's lineup can find in that area. Secret do have a pre-placed ops that is expiring in 10. Might want to get one up there for when you lose that safe lane tower. Getting a ward somewhere around your outpost can have really high impact because the enemy can play up there. Sometimes you can find some like cute spots that are less likely warded, and that could lead to something big here. But Secret have lost the area entirely, and now that means you just concede this tower. Will be going the way of Toronto Tokyo. Aegis for minute and 40.
Yeah.
Wait for
that. They only have one tower to the name, like you're saying. So this Aegis feels like more of a denial at this stage. You only basically get a tier 2. I mean, the tier 1 is still up for Team Secret. But you can see Matu picked up a Blink Dagger. Not sure if Spirit has seen this yet, but you have a double damage now with Shapeshift, and it could be a Blink reveal from Matu.
I saw this yesterday.
It's many times.
It did a lot of damage.
All right, here comes the Wolf Rock. Matu has his BKB ready to go. Pops that Shadow Blue. They know. But does Mira know? Is he? No, he's dead. Oh my god. In air. The double damage.
That is actually pretty close to Little Red Riding Hood there. That was a Dark Willow. I'll take that. That's
oh my god, Makoshka gets up
God.
with his guard. Looks like it's gonna last that long. Below. Matu, oh, he throws the tree and destroys him. Cold Embrace saving Collapse for now, but you have to think that he will die here. Gets tossed up into the air. Matu pops the BKB, but a lot of damage comes to Mintaro. The Godstrike actually ripping through this rock. He's gonna get the kill. Nisha looks next on the target. He gets inside the trees. Night Vision from Toronto Tokyo. Double kill for Yotaro. Collapse is still somehow alive here. Puppy getting some cover to the stop, but triple kill for Yotaro. He's just bringing everyone down to their knees. Out of nowhere, Yotaro. I mean, he's been top net worth for a while. It's really
such a heads-up play there from Makoshka to not die, right? They kind of got a little bit desperate with the dive. Matumba thought he could kill him no problem, but the 2 swings he got in were not critical strikes. And Makoshka got to rip it out, dodge the tree throw as well. You're going to see the replay here. So the coming here, Curse. None of them crits. Now he wants to throw the tree that gets blinked. And this is where Matsu probably just gets out, right? But Nisha has committed in from the back, so they feel a little bit forced to go great. And the damage just isn't enough there onto Collapse. And then Yotaro just goes in cleanup crew, no problem.
Getting another kill to his name here onto Yapzor. That was past the tier 2 towers, and one was still remaining until just now. His gem is on the deck.
Yeah, crucial hold for Spirit there. Could question the dive from Nisha. It's easy from our perspective. It looked like they were just going to kill Wyvern on the spot and get more. And so they really get out with his item build on Lina. He has to try to BKB TP, but he's still playing against RP, so unlikely to work.
Yotaro now has a Satanic. So, Blink, BKB, Echo Saber, Silver Edge, Satanic. Going for the Swift Blink next. As we see the replay on Yapzor's death here. And Yotaro is just on another level this tournament. His performance, and we've talked a lot about Collapse, and again, the entire team would not be able to get this far without everybody doing their work, but Yotaro, as a position 1, has really shined this tournament. Nisha and company looking to find their way back in this game. Still pretty even, I would say. 29 minutes net worth lead for Spirit. And next Roche, we won't know for a
Radiant's
bit.
middle tower is under attack.
Outpost being taken. Will be successful. Team Spirit are fully smoked right now.
Matsu finds a big item here. It's the Titan Sliver on Tiny. That's a very big pickup for him.
Yeah.
A lot more damage to the status. This is nice.
Puppy.
He has to.
Eon Disc procs. Toronto Tokyo goes to the back line looking for Zai. That's off the Ghost Scepter as well. Will be brought down eventually. Pickle is going to play with the LSS Nisha. Do they have dares? They do. Matu gets the kill. Onto that Sven. Yataro is donezo. Earth Splitter comes out, not doing too much though. Collapse out, but Matu's right clicks are just too much to withstand. Toronto Tokyo creating enough space there. A big fight for Secret. They do lose Nisha, but Yataro at the very least is taken out of the game for a little bit.
Such a huge itemization from Puppey. Look at how much a difference it makes that he has these exact items. So he has Ghost Scepter to buy the time against that Sven, and then he gets the Demonic Purge and Disruption off because of Aeon Disc. He would have died in the... He didn't have the disc, so kind of offering himself up and gets the full counterplay out. Demonic Purge on Sven is such an insane counter. It was talked about on the panel as well, right? They were like, yeah, you got to pick something, and that's the one bad matchup Sven has, and Puppey just showed why there. That Demonic Purge just ruined the Sven's fight, and they burst him down. That was some solid spell casting from the rest of Spirit, though. That could have gone way worse. It was a good curse on Lina to at least salvage things somewhat there for Team Spirit.
Toronto Tokyo pushing out the top lane now, as we do have Shard online. Wolves
Gets stopped mid.
Spawning.
This could be a setup for Matu.
Okay. Thunderhide is available there. Oh, the Force Staff from Matu, but gonna force BKB. Mira saving, or getting Cold Embrace for now. Can pop, but it's collapsed with the initiation onto Matu, and now the Orchid on top of it. He's already used the BKB. Nice save from Puppey for the time being, but Matu's still stuck in a terrible spot right now. Has to just stand ground, and there's the Terrorize to follow. Big kill for Team Spirit. Looks like Zaya's next on their list. And down he goes, Cinderin. Great execution from Team Spirit.
Oh my god, I hope we get a replay of that. What an insane force step from Collapse there. It wasn't even mid force step. It was the tiny of Matu. The second he blinks in to go for the Avatos combo, he immediately gets offensively force staffed. That puts him out of position. It doesn't own Mira, but Pertix is tiny, and they do end up getting the kill in the end. That was sick. Collapse, and then he finishes it off with the blink skewer too. It doesn't get better than that. That's
Collapse. Blink Dagger's getting canceled perpetually by Puppey. On the other side of the trees, you see the Horn Toss finally being used. Puppey. And Yataro gets another kill to his name.
See a little detail there from Puppey. He backpacks his Aeon Disc. He doesn't want to use the charge on it. He wants to keep the cooldown as low as possible. Knows he's dead anyway. And wants to have it ready when he respawns. But Spirit, all of that momentum right now going their way from these last couple of fights, and you got to keep in mind it's been Secret initiating these moves and Spirit just reading them and counterplaying them perfectly. Both out and mid, Matu getting punished after having an insane early game. These two deaths set them back so much.
And into the Roche pit they go. Team Spirit, the underdogs of this tournament, could finish this game and go to the grand finals.
Team. And then Cold Embrace right after. So clutch from the supports of Spirit.
Yeah, that is. I cannot believe this entire fight is
so crazy. They're gonna get the.
Yeah, Wolf is showing this out, but not able to deny anything. So Toronto Tokyo gets the Aegis. Shard as well, so that's the
high stakes match here. There's a lot on the line, so you definitely remember the Aegis this time. Team Spirit gonna get that.
Well done.
They gave the Shard to the Storm as well, right? He didn't buy this. He just picked it up and used it. So they get the active overload.
That's right.
Effectively improving their damage quite a lot. Gives himself some attack speed too, but I think primarily helpful for Sven as well when they initiate together.
And he's had that shard for a little bit on Sven, so can dispel like Yules and whatnot. Pretty helpful. Killing Nisha specifically, actually, as Matu is in wolf form again. And 9k lead for Team Spirit. They have a pretty firm game, Cinderin. Can't see come back. Yataro jumps in. Puppey, that's the Aeon Disc again. And he gets slept a bit here from Elder Titan, but a big jump from Toronto Tokyo. Ghost Scepter immediately used by Puppey. Looks like he's done again, though. Does have buyback, but again, that Aeon Disc is going to be on cooldown for quite a while. And Yataro wants to make use of this God's Strength. It is running out, though. Looks like they're not going to go for the high ground yet. It's on this Aegis. They don't need to get over aggressive here. We've seen a lot of teams do that this tournament, in fact. And really, their only high ground is Sven and I would assume he'd want to be ulted in most of these cases.
Yeah, for sure.
Is under attack.
So it's just like a small window.
There's a lot of risk involved with having this when you're playing against Blink Toss, right? Like, it's kind of the skewer problem that we've seen teams run into in the base as well, that you are facing.
Yeah.
The Wolf is a hunting. There's a gem on the Storm, though, so Toronto Tokyo should be able to react in time as long as he is not under a ward, which he is right now, but he will find that one. And Matu will redirect his attention to Mira. Seems a bit hesitant to jump.
That's a very quick shot from again. So Mira with a quick finger. Matu gets nothing out of that.
Opted to go for the Howl cast first. Lycan at the same time. I don't know if that was a bit of a tell. I am not sure if Mira noticed that, but well, gets out, makes the right read.
And look at the bounce back from Toronto Tokyo. Look at his net worth, Cinder.
Yep.
It was not looking good for him halfway through the game. Obviously, Yataro creating a lot of space, and the rest of his team as well. They make this massive comeback, but second net worth, I would not have thought that would be the case at 35 minutes. Just masterful play from Team Spirit, and again, whoever wins this game will be playing PSG LGD in the grand finals of TI10. So,
it's something we maybe haven't touched on so much, right? One of the key things for Secret in this game compared to games that do well in Nisha has been so quiet.
oh, they might have found Mott. Does have the BKB, Avatos to follow, but Collapse gets saved. Matu is just... and they're just looking for some sort of collateral, but it's not going to happen. Down goes Matu. Does have buyback, however, and expect Team Spirit to force this out. I mean, they had to use basically nothing.
Yeah, they can take the two bottom towers for free if they want. From more. They have another smoke on the Wyvern. Sven's God Strength is ready with Swift Blink.
And Toronto Tokyo gets the Orchid, but doesn't have a whole lot of mana to speak of. Still is intact, and they're going to use it. It did cost Secret the Laguna Blade, and there's the Winter's Curse. Not going to last too long, though. Nisha getting jumped, but there's the BKB. And Team Spirit still super happy with this exchange. Net worth lead now. And Matu, I would assume they want to force this buyback.
Yeah, the Wolves in the mid lane are going to try to cut this wave. Zai. And more to reach. They will kill them off now with the Storm to save those precious seconds of the siege.
Oh boy. Arcane Rune on Toronto Tokyo as well.
Yeah. BKB is ready as well. And they know there's no BKB on Lina. That's big puppy ready here to save Nisha. They're going to jump at basically all costs.
High ground defenses there, Team Secret. Tokyo goes really deep, and there's a big skewer from left under two. Good lord, double kill for Yataro. Basically, in just one Echo Saber double slap. Absolutely filthy stuff here from Yataro again. And a great initiation from Collapse. Likely a mid-rax to follow, but Puppy's going to get initiated on. There's the Eon Disc to proc, the buyback now into Nisha. Matu has spawned naturally. And it looks like they might actually defend this. The strength is running out here shortly, Cinderin. Matu in form again. But there's that really annoying Curse Crown with the Shard into the Bramble. And Team Spirit, oh my, they are so close, Cinderin, to getting to the grand finals here.
It's unbelievable. If you would have asked me the odds of this before the tournament, Spirit getting to the finals, man.
Oh, Matu, all right.
Well, let's find out.
Mira has the extra cautious to work with. That's 2 deaths now in quick succession in favor of Team Secret, but still the buybacks remain. See if Secret can force these out.
It seems relatively unlikely. It's so scary for them to go to the enemy high ground at this point with how much pressure they're under, and also their gold on their heroes. So Tiny buyback gold, Lycan doesn't have buyback gold. Shadow Demon does. So used his previously on the Elder Titan. Quiet game from him as well on that ET, just very low net worth. He's not very farmed, hasn't been involved in too many kills. It is a difficult ET game in my opinion against this, as well as that Max Skewer and just the general vision that Team Spirit have been playing with the whole game. But really, both Yapzor and Nisha just not having the games that they're used to, and that's what's made this so hard. Monster's been caught off a couple of times and made some mistakes. These other two players just haven't found their footing in the game, largely.
All right, look at the net worth. Yapzor is literal bottom by a long shot. so uncharacteristic. That I literally cannot remember that ever happening.
It's very rare, and it's also, if you think about the way Secret prioritized these heroes, I think is really impactful. I think his net worth has been put to really good use. But in some of these strategies we've seen from PSG LGD where they play a 4 Elder Titan, he ends up having an Aghanims, and he just becomes a that's just not the case for YapzOr here. He doesn't ever have the opportunity to really go in. Maybe he doesn't feel like it was an option anyway because of the hero matchups. Like maybe he just thinks it's too hard against Wyvern, Sven, and Meg to ever do it.
Puppey has definitely survived through a lot of this, but Yatoro now has a nullifier, so you can dispel Aeon Disc. And well, Puppey is going to get the disruption off. And the Bramble pops the Ghost Scepter preemptively. He's going to die shortly after.
Great curse.
Huge curse on the 3 heroes as Team Secret gets RP from Collapse. And the right clicks are there from Yatoro. Triple kill for him. Making it an ultra kill.
Radiant's top tower.
Another rampage at TI-10. Absolutely. Yatoro does it again, Synderen. Holy Jesus. Yatoro and company at the edge now of going to the TI-10 Grand Finals.
Secret have 0 buybacks. If they just get a wave into the base and go for towers, it's over. They could finish maybe before Lycan responds.
Oh, they're definitely going to go for this. 100%.
It's over.
They're going to call GG. The underdog story is still alive. Team Spirit move on to the Grand Finals. What a performance. Team Spirit, man. It's hard not to be rooting for them right now because they have been the underdogs for so long. Even in just their region, it's been VP the entire year that we've been talking about. But Team Spirit showing up.